Welcome back to the show. Today we have Michale Hart, and Michale, you were saying off air what your name is. I would love for you to say what your full real name is for everyone, because I actually think it's quite beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much. Marusa.
What?
And
Oh,
my
see,
last name is Maloff, so I am Russian. And I'm from the Duke community, very small community in Kelowna. Well, actually, I moved to Kelowna, but Castlegar, BC.
Okay. In Canada. Love it. Love it. Okay. So Michale is the founder of Fit and Healthy Nutritional Consulting. She works with her husband alongside her and has worked with people like Bob Proctor. She lives a healthy and natural lifestyle in Mexico. So welcome. You are in Mexico right now, correct?
Yes. That's why I'm sweating.
Whole family there, like the two boys as well, or how old are your two boys?
So thankfully, yes, they are. They're building their empire here as well. And Tristan and Trey, I call them TNT, Dynamite Duo. They're both entrepreneurs building their own business, and it's about a 35-minute walk from here. And we see each other at least once a week. In fact, after this, we're going to have a conversation. And so they actually help me with my business, and they have their own as well.
So it's a whole family affair, your business.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Oh, interesting. And my brother is actually named Tristan as well. So I have a Tristan in my family. All right. So let's just start out. If you could tell yourself one thing when you began your entrepreneurial journey, what would it be?
Be yourself. Don't try and be someone else.
Yeah. Yep. So many people say that. Like, just don't get involved in looking at the competition, thinking about the competition. Just be your unique self, and that's going to sell your business more than anything. But let's talk about your business a little bit. It's the nutritional consulting. You offer customized weight loss plans. You have this reset, recharge, rebuild method. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Okay. So I help women over 40 lose 20 or more pounds and keep it off for life without giving up their favorite foods or wine.
That was very short and succinct. How do you do that with the reset, recharge, rebuild method?
Okay, so we start with the intake form because these are not cookie cutter. These are customized to the blueprint of the individual, because I work with people that don't want to waste any more time and they want to get results. And so, but to do that, we need to find out more about them. I do. And so they fill out an intake form, and I can pretty much identify parasites, candida, low stomach acid. It could be thyroid, but it could be leptin. So basically, I discover the root cause of where their issue is. And then from there, I custom design an eating plan of foods that they love that is going to get the results with a grocery list. Everything is done for you. I also help them with the exercise, pick the right plan for them, because some women are very stressed out and the last thing they need is HIIT. And so we move them into a direction that would serve them. And it's actually 9 steps. So there's 9 pillars to the program, but what reset would be, we're just going to reset everything, but we're going to start one step at a time. So, because most plans I see out there, like throw everything at them. It's like, no, this is the most important thing to do this week. And so that's what I do. Yeah.
How would that work when you have someone who has a candida, I don't want to say issue, what's the right word for that? Candida growth or something. And they love, I don't know, bread and wine and all these things that have yeast in it. How would that work? Because you're saying you don't take away the foods that they love to eat. You still include that. So how would that work with something when there's conflict within the foods that they love? Because maybe the foods that they love are creating these bad habits or something, do you understand what I'm saying? How does that work?
Yeah. They need to be clear. I need to be clear with what's going on in their body so that they understand more about their body. So when they first start working with me, is I get them to understand what's going on in their body. And so then I can paint a clear picture of, you've got candida. It's not even your desire to eat the foods. It's the bugs that are asking you to eat the foods. Here you're thinking it's willpower. It's not. It's the bugs that are driving that. And so once we can use antimicrobials, so I also am a clinical nutritionist. So I use herbal antimicrobials that can start to give you like that unfair advantage. So we start to take the antimicrobials while we shift the diet, and in time, not very long, in about 3 days, you won't want those foods anymore, because we clear away the bugs that are driving that. And then your body starts to crave foods that are going to nurture your body in time.
Mm.
And so it's not, so you're learning more about your body and why it's craving this. And then that's how you get the results.
So I would like to know, how do you stand out and market yourself in a field that is already so saturated? I mean, I think it's one of the largest industries, the health, wellness, weight loss industry. So how do you stand out from a marketing perspective?
I would have to say three ways. The first one is my hero's journey. And I always like to start with how I even got here. I got here because I had to figure it out myself. And so if you're going to follow anyone, follow someone who's already done the journey and who's where you want to be. That's who you want to follow. And if it feels intuitively right, you want to pick that person. And so for me, I had osteoporosis when I was very, very young because I had an eating disorder and I was basically starving myself to be skinny. I thought that was sexy, but it wasn't. And I took it too far and I lost a lot of my bone mass, my hair, everything. But that was frightening because I love people. So I had to figure out, how am I going to like build my body up to be strong and while still look and feel good and keep the foods in that I love. Like, I don't want to, who wants to diet? Nobody wants to diet. I want to eat foods that I love. And so it really took me a bunch of time to figure out how can I eat foods that I love and get to the result that I want, build my bones, look and feel my best. And I figured it out. I did. So
Mm.
the hero's journey was the first piece is, yes, I know what you're feeling like. Likely, I've probably been as naughty as you, probably worse. Had all those addictions, made me more. So I know what it feels like, but really I have the solution to it. And it's very empowering. So I have the hero's journey. The second thing is I'm just myself. And like, I'm not trying to be anybody else but me. And so I'm living on purpose. I'm living by the divine. I am here for a reason. And I already know like, this is what I'm here for. Okay. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, why would they pick me? Oh, what happens is here's the other piece is it's not your fault. You think it's like, oh, I feel like I'm guilty, the will part. No, it's not. No, you're marketed to. You're a customer and you have to know that it's a business. And so if you want to get healthy, I would not follow the mainstream because they're not there to get you healthy. You are their customer. They want you to be their customer. And so they want you to live an artificial life. And so if you do, you are caught up in the matrix. So what I do is I go, okay, and I share with them, like, first of all, I gather the information. What's going on? Oh, okay. So that's leading you here. And here's why. Let's move you from artificial to natural. Because your
Mhm.
cells, you're a human being. Your cells are expecting natural things, not shiny object, artificial stuff. And so a lot of times they don't know what that is. And I understand. I got caught up in that too. And it got me nowhere. And then when I figured out the secret, literally, that's how Bob Proctor found me, is I'm like, wait a minute. No, that's not true. Like all that stuff it's all marketing. What am I doing? Okay, I'm going to go here. And as soon as I moved into the natural space, things flipped like that. I'm like, whoa, I have to let everybody know about this because they're not being told the truth. And so that's what got me started. So those are the three things.
So to distill down, it's almost like we're saying to stand out in a highly saturated market, you need your story, right? Like that
Yeah.
hero's journey, which is your story. You
Mm-hmm.
need to be yourself and be unique,
Yeah.
right? And stress what makes you different from others. And then the third was you have to really tell the truth amongst everything else because it's not your fault. It's very specific to your industry. But I'm trying to make this broad for our audience. And that is more along the lines of tell the truth, right? That you feel is the truth. Correct?
Be vulnerable.
Okay.
Have the courage to be vulnerable with respect. I'm letting you know right now, the new currency is being authentic.
It
We
is.
need to
Yes.
start to share the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do, I want you to see how that feels in your body. Oh, I'm kind of nervous, but that actually felt right. Your intuition will lead you in the right direction. And so again, this leads you to how do I get to that place? Nature. Be in nature and you'll start to tap into our wisdom. I'm telling you, women, magical. We have this wisdom. It's just sitting right there. And we just got to tap in. This is the magic right here. And this is how I start my day is tapping in. Yeah.
Why do you think nature is so important?
Well, how do you feel in nature and how do you feel in your office under blue light and a computer and four walls?
Oh, absolutely. Like
So
I've
do I have to,
actually, I have this little sticky here, which you can't really read, but it's my 4 words for 2024. And the second one is nature. And every Friday, provided I'm not sick or it's not raining, I try to go on some kind of conservation land and go on a walk to like reset. And it has been, I mean, transformational sounds very powerful, but it's been soothing almost. It's been like a place where like ideas come and things solidify. And I say, yes, that's the direction I need to go in with my business. Or this is what I need to do in my personal life. Right. And this is not as important as that. And it is that truth that I think you come to because you're just pulling in. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the wisdom of nature, whatever it is, I think it's renewing you in a way. So I like that. I like what you're saying with the nature and being that will help you get to your authenticity. So your business, you ended up, you touched on this. You starved yourself. Because
yeah.
of that, you ended up with osteoporosis much
Yep.
earlier than expected. You even said
Mhm.
on your website you were dragged behind a dirt bike on your face, which by the way, I cannot tell at all that happened. And you've been now in this business doing this 20 years. How did all of this, I mean, especially the dirt bike story and how did this lead you to a point of being like, I need to start a business? Because you could have found out what you did and healed your life and not felt compelled to start a business. So, what was that turning point that made you decide, I'm going to start my business and help others do this?
It actually came from within. It's not even me. It's just what I'm here for. How can I explain it? I don't know. I just know that I saw it when I was, okay, this is kind of little woo woo, but the truth. There's been a lot of woo woo in my life, probably because I'm pretty tapped in. Um, but when I was around maybe 16, I saw myself at the head of this big long table and like the head of this corporation, and just already knew that I'd be a leader in a space. I would be a voice for something. I already felt that. It's like a feeling. I'm a feeler. I could feel things. And I'm like, and I saw it. I'm like, yeah, yeah. It's a knowing. It's a knowing. We all have this. I'm not special. I just started to look into it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Wow, I keep seeing that. And then I started to see other things happen throughout my life. I'm like, yeah, okay. And this is how I was able to manifest my dream life is by seeing things, feeling it, and not being afraid to going after it. So
How
when
do
you
you
have this,
not be afraid? Because I think there are women out there who have this feeling of I could be doing this, but fear holds them back because it's so much more secure to stay with your job, to stay with the steady paycheck, to stay with the health insurance versus making that leap based on a feeling. So, what do you say to other women who might have that feeling, but fear is holding them back?
what makes you happy? Fear is a low level vibration. Do you want to live that way for the rest of your life? Feeling like you haven't reached your potential? Like you have to look at your future self. What does that look like? When your future, if you look at your future self, like look at like you're talking to who you are, it's like you're having this conversation. And do you want to play small? Probably not. And you
Mm-hmm.
know what? You need to be uncomfortable. You need to feel comfortable being uncomfortable and move into this other arena. It's like literally you're going from here. That's not serving me. Do I want to keep doing that? What kind of life do I want? Do I want to keep like being a slave to everybody else, or can I just like live the life that I want? You can be both. You can give to yourself and others, but you need to give to yourself. What is that? If you have kids, your biggest way that you can support your kids is living your dream life. Because if you don't, are they going to? Don't you want the best for your kids? You are the example. It's what you do, not what you say. So that's the other piece is I have this thing where I just want to be like, I want to be their hero. And like everything I do, I know they're watching. It's not what I say, it's what I do. And so because I love my kids so deeply and my husband, I'm showing up in a way that I'm proud of myself, and that they get to see what's possible. So it's really about looking at your future. Like, do you want to play small? Or can you just like step into this other arena? And yeah, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It should. Do you want to live a life always comfortable? Nah, probably not.
It's appealing sometimes. Sometimes when I'm pushing myself a lot, I'm like, why am I doing this? It would be nice just to like clock out, and not care.
Okay,
But
there's seasons
I
in life.
wouldn't.
There's seasons in life.
I hear this
Seasons.
so often from guests. Yes, absolutely. Different seasons of your life where you need to slow
Yeah.
down, where you need to speed up, where
Yep.
you can grow, where you can step back. And I think it's important for women to understand that, because so much of our culture in America is around go, 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 go. Make yourself better by doing this diet, by becoming an entrepreneur, by doing real estate, whatever it is. It's always go, 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 go. And I think women need to understand sometimes you need to just bring it in a little bit and slow down. And I trust me, I struggle with that all the time.
I can unpack that. The other thing is, yes, that's fine. Always keep your eye on what you want. And you think that it's hard work. It may not be. You
Mm-hmm.
may be so caught in the clutter that it's going to be hard work because you're not really tapping in. When you
Mm-hmm.
take a step back, like you said, and you go on this thing every week, you are going to save yourself years of doing the wrong thing by tapping into what the right thing is.
Right.
You know what it is, and this will save you time. So that's the other major piece of it. I can say this because I'm like 57 this year and I've gone through so many things. If I can just like pass on that piece of wisdom is like, listen, like you're a woman. You're like, you have superpowers that you can tap into that will save you a lot of time and stress.
Yeah. Yep. I had a therapist once who talked a lot about he believed people had three ways of operating: with their gut, their heart, or their head. And he said some people are really strong with their gut, and women generally
Mm,
have a strong gut, but will try to either go with their heart or their head. And it's like, how do you balance and make sure that you're listening to your gut? He said, like, so many people ignore the gut. And I've always thought of that, because he actually said I was very good at listening to my gut. So, and he said, and look
mm,
what happens when you don't. It's like, you ended up here pretty
mm.
much. Yeah. Yeah. So your husband works with you, which I always get excited when I have guests on whose husband works with them, because I don't know if I could ever do that. So I love grilling you guys about how does it work? When did he come into your business? What made you decide, like, hey, let's pull you into my business? And what does he do with your business?
Okay. So we lived in Kelowna, British Columbia, and I had an in-person clinic for 20 years. So people used to come in, kids, like all sorts, into our clinic, and I used to serve them in person, and then COVID hit. And so I had to shut my doors. And then Reese is like, hey, Mish. He calls me Mish. He's so sweet. He goes, you know what? We need to go online. You need to help these people differently. And I'm like, yeah, because I just want to, like, that's what I'm here for. And so he's like, okay, let's do it. Like a whole new skill. But here's the thing is I knew I wanted to help people. So, okay, how do I do that? Right. We hire a coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to do it. He's like, yeah, I don't know. Well, let's find someone to help us. Because I knew I wanted to shortcut my way. And so we hired someone. I remember the first one, and they worked with healthcare practitioners to get them online from in person. Yeah, very specific. And I
Mm-hmm.
followed them for a year, and I was a really good student of theirs because I wanted to learn how to do it. And so then I was able to do that. And then he's like, okay, how about we move now to somewhere else that would, just for an adventure. And I'm like, okay. So he had to leave his job. See, he had to leave. He was in the same space, natural health. He used to travel around helping stores learn about natural nutrition, supplements, like how to get a body composition, anti-aging, all these kind of things. He was like a territory manager. And he's like, okay, well, if we're going to move, we're going to use your business as an online business. I will like leave mine and then I'll help you with yours. So we basically have like two different hats that we wear. Like I am the clinical practitioner and detox specialist who carefully create the plan. So that's my hat. His hat is he does fitness and he knows a lot about nutrition and mindset, but he also does sales and marketing. So he does sales and marketing. I'm like the front face, he's the back. And so we have these distinct roles, but our values are very similar. So we work really, really well together because we have the similar value system, but different roles. And so then we moved to Mexico and he's like, okay, we're doing this. So we hired a new coach to help us scale our business because we knew we want to find someone who's like 5 years ahead of us. who is
Right.
exactly what we want to do. Like that's what coaches are for. I don't want to waste my time. I want to have, and plus it's way more fun having someone, show you the ropes and you trying to figure it out yourself. That's really
Mhm.
frustrating. So it's like, okay, so we hired a new coach. And he has his thing. I have my thing, and we have daily meetings every morning where we connect.
With the coach or with you, just between you and your husband?
Reese and I. And so we
Okay.
go through, it's a 30-minute scheduled time. Reese and I, we connect, and then we know what our steps are for that day and that week. So
Okay.
does that answer your question?
Yes. The follow-up question I have is, do you guys have strict boundaries in the sense that like once work is done, that's it? Or does it carry over into your weekends, into your evenings? How do you manage to keep your relationship sane and healthy if you have disagreements with the business as well?
So lots of respect. So first of all, number one, respect. Number two, affection. That's what keeps a marriage. Two very important things. And so it's always very respectful. I seek first to understand before being understood. He's probably got some information that I don't know, but I want to know what that is. Okay, that's why you work together. And he's working with me, not against me. We have the same goal. And so it's always respect. And so, okay, well, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Here's an opportunity for us, this big networking thing. What are your thoughts on that? And so that would be one piece. The other piece is we did try and go, okay, at dinner time, Reese and I sit on the deck together without the phones. We just chat. I'm like, we tried this idea of let's put work aside and just talk personal stuff. But work does kind of creep in only because I think that we just love it so much. And our clients, we actually bring them in almost like family members. This is a very unique this is not a regular type of a business. This is a very heart-centered, caring. We care so much about our clients. And so sometimes that seeps in, but at the same time, hey, sometimes I can see we don't want to talk business because he's already overwhelmed. So I have that feeling of, oh, I can tap into that. Okay, I'm going to back off with this. I'm going to talk about like, wow, like look at our life right now, and move it into a high frequency of wow, like manifestation. Wow, this, hey, what do you want to do this year? And bring it to this. Because this is where you kind of want to go, especially when you're eating, because you need rest and digest, not stress and like fight or flight. So especially at meal time, so you can digest your food. But does that answer your question?
It does. It does. And I remember, um, I mean, I've been married to my husband 14 years now, but I remember reading something about 5, 6 years ago that was like, if you go on a date, don't bring work into it, don't bring kids into the topic, blah, 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 blah. And I used to like think that was like the law. And my
Mm,
husband he's in a totally different field from me. But we both, like you said, going back to, we both love our careers so much. We both love
mm,
working. So by trying to hold myself back, it just didn't feel
mhm.
natural. It didn't feel right. And I felt like I was fighting against something. And it's like, I like talking about my business. I like talking about, and I like hearing my husband and what's going on with him at work and like what he's encountering. To me, that is something we both love. We're both career driven. So why are we trying to hold back on that? Or why am I trying to hold back on that? It just seems silly. And I love that you say that because I have talked to some people who are like, we stop at 5, but they usually have like young kids and they're like, we don't, our kids don't really care and don't want to listen. So they kind
Mm,
of like, have a hard stop.
mhm.
But yeah, I like that because I think if you do love it, why try to hold
Yeah.
back on it? Because that's just going to be weird. It's going to probably create issues, right? So when your kids were younger, you have two boys. How did you manage your business and personal life? Were you at the clinic all the time? Did you try to find some kind of flexibility? What did you do to kind of meld family and business together?
Yeah. So it started with the vision. Who did I want to be? What kind of mom did I want to be? It's always like start with the end in mind with everything, business, life, relationships. Like, what do you actually want? That means like tapping into what makes me feel good. Okay. Why am I here? What's my purpose? So I feel fulfilled. So I started with that. I'm like, I want to be a at-home mom. And originally it was like, okay, Mish, you're just going to be the at-home mom and I'm going to be the one making all the money. I'm like, yep, that's great. And that was our decision when we first got married, Reese and I. And then, and he's like, yeah, okay, I could do that. But then I'm like, man, like, yeah, I love my boys and all, but I'm like, I'm missing something. I just really want to like start something. Like, I want to share I want to share how people can get fit and healthy. Like, I want to do that with the kids. I'm like, how do I do that? How do I balance both of them? So, and so I was able to do that. And how did I do that? Instead of working for a clinic, like outside of my home, instead of driving, working with a multidisciplinary clinic, although that was very attractive to me because I really like that kind of conversation and the peers in that. I'm like, no, I'm going to build a house of business. So Reese and I we built the clinic in the home. And so, and it was very natural. Like all the elements were natural. I felt like I was like in like a spa, but natural. So I felt like really good in my office. And so then I had all this flexibility to be able to go, okay, I'm like, yep, I want to have home cooked meals for the boys when they came home so that they had nourishment. That was a very, very important value of mine is I love feeding my family well. I'm the type of person that feeds their family well. I always put that first. And so in my schedule, while the boys were at school, I would schedule in time for cooking
Mm,
because I knew in advance that's to show up that way. I need to schedule it in because we need schedules. Like we have to block these times in and guard it like a ninja. And so I scheduled time in for cooking and I had a certain amount of time I would cook and I would have the ingredients already in my house. I would cook and then the kids would come home and they would come home to home cooked meals. Do you know how fulfilling that was for me? Everything. Because I knew that I wanted to raise superhuman kids,
mm.
super kids. That was my goal. And I'm very proud of how I was able to do that. So that
I
was
like that you did
one
that.
piece. It's really true. Like if I could do anything, it would be raising superhuman kids. So I did everything I could for that. I arranged my schedule to do that. And it was the best thing I ever did. Why? Because that's what I'm here for. That's not what you're probably here for. You need to find what you're here for. And that's what I mean by tapping in. Like tap into what is there. It's going to
Hmm.
tell you. And then never be afraid of moving in that direction. And when you do, let it sit with you. How does that feel? It feels weird, but it feels just so good, like a hot
Hmm.
chocolate, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. Which I'm not sure. Do you have many of those in Mexico? Hot cocoa?
We have cacao. And so I add cacao nibs to my smoothie so that you can chew it, so you can digest it. Most people drink it and they shouldn't drink their smoothies.
Oh,
The
interesting.
body doesn't recognize it's full and then you're over. Yeah, it's not good. No, we need
Oh,
to chew our food. Yeah. Yep.
interesting.
Yep. And cacao nibs are good for the gut microbiome. They actually, they're good for brain cognition. They have magnesium to make you calm. These are superfoods.
I think
And
I
that's what I
have
do.
cacao. Don't I? This is from
Cacao
Brazil.
nibs.
They're not nibs. My friend went to Brazil and brought back cacao.
Mm.
Family owned single estate cacao. Yeah. I can't, it's all, the rest is all in Portuguese, so I can't understand it. But it does say one English sentence, and that's family owned single estate cacao. So I think I have some, but
Beautiful.
chew on it when I have my tea in the afternoon as a little pick me up. All right. So quickly, if you can think of any time management techniques that have been really effective for you that you can share with fellow women entrepreneurs, what would they be?
Well, the first thing is you need to get your calendar out and make a schedule. Like that is a non-negotiable. And so whatever schedule that is, I have a dashboard healthy that I counsel all my clients in. So it's a professional one and it has its own calendar. And so what I do is in advance, I plug and play all. So first of all, the first thing that goes in your calendar, this is going to fly in the face of what you'll probably hear, self-care.
Mm.
That goes first. If you're not, you like your best, how good are you for anybody else? And do you want to live like that? I think we need
Mm-hmm.
to get away from that now. And we have to get out of this like rat race way of living. Mm-mm. Actually, it's going to burn you out and you're going to
Mm-hmm.
look old and feel like crap. So that's not fair. Okay. So the first thing that goes in your calendar is self-care. What is that for you? I have my self-care. Okay. So I have certain things that I do where I can show up my best. So I put that in first and I guard it like a ninja. If there is something that comes up in because an emergency, of course I'm going to be flexible. but is it a real emergency or can it wait? This is where the mindset piece comes in. I matter too. You're first. That's weird, but it's true. So you put yourself in, then you can put in your appointments. And the other thing is time blocks. And I would do so I do time blocks. So first of all, I start with deep work because I'm a content creator and I need an hour and a half of tapping into what I want to say. And so it's an hour and a half of my door is shut. I go right in and I go, okay. And I write, or I do some kind of something that requires deep work. I know my time that's best for that. So I plug that in. And then I have meetings at the end of the day when I don't need to be as creative. I'm creative when I have more energy, when I've had a good meal, like these kind of things. So you want to pick certain times throughout the week where you're going to be your best at that thing. The gym for me is the morning, right? So, because if not, I'm not going to get it done. And that's not okay for me. So that's my self-care piece, right? So you do time blocks and an hour and a half, 50 minutes, you plug those in and forget about multitasking. You're going to burn yourself out. No, you're very focused. Okay, this is the intention of this time block. And so it's really creating a skill of focus, which again is a new currency. People are all over the place. So it's like taking a deep breath, going in, doing your work, and then go to your next thing. And so the other thing is, that would be my biggest advice is that. And that's what I do. Yeah.
Make a schedule, make sure that your self-care is the first thing you schedule, whatever that looks like. Yep. Make sure you're putting in time blocks that kind of flow with your zone of genius, right? Because some people work better at 9 p.m. Some people work better at 7 a.m., etc. And then forget about multitasking. Use your skill of focus. And you don't even know how many times I have heard that on my podcast from successful women, that focus is getting lost in this world of cell phones and smartphones and connectivity and all the tabs and everything. It's so easy to start working and be like, yeah, I'm going to focus. I'm going to be deep working. Then you're like, oh, notification, got to look at that. Got to do that. I had a guest on recently who talked about the Pomodoro technique, which is really, really interesting. It was like 25 minutes, super deep work, 5-minute break. You can do all those notification checks, whatever, 5-minute break. You do that 4 times for 25 minutes, and then you take an hour break. And that hour break can be checking all the little things and multitasking, or it can be taking a walk, or it can be doing this. And it's like just to give your brain that deep work and then that feeling satisfied that you're, checking the notifications. But I do agree with time blocking. And I feel like I get so much better when I put a time limit on something. Like I'm only going to spend 45 minutes and I put that timer actually on. And when it beeps and I stop, I say I'm done. Because otherwise, then my brain starts lagging and then I start getting tired and then I start looking at everything else and multitasking. So I love time blocking. I think that's one of the best things that you can do. So you did mention off air that you have a team. Can you tell us a little bit what that looks like for you right now?
Yeah. So, sure. I have a VA and my VA is a team and they're in Pakistan and I love them because the thing is though, they only hired because they're on the same mission as me. I would never hire a team that didn't have the same mission. That's the first. Make sure that the team that you have knows your mission and your purpose and they're in alignment with that. That's the trumps of everything. Okay. And I even take them aside sometimes and I have little deep conversations going, hey, how's it going? And then I tap in on a heartfelt, they're employee, but they're people too. And so so anyways, they're very much in alignment with the mission that I have to help this world be a better place by getting them healthy. So they're on that mission. So that's the first piece is I have so I have a chatter. So what happens is we run ads to Instagram and they're lead magnets and they say a certain, there is a certain word that is prompted for the VA to connect with. And then once they see the word, the VA goes into it and starts the chat flow that I created. But as there's a chat flow, it's an SOP chat flow. Because listen, I have thousands of followers. Can you imagine me being in there all day? I wouldn't be able to do anything else.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching them how to be me on there. And then they'll reach out to me with any high level questions. I'm like, yep, great, awesome. And then I teach them along the way and manage them. So I have a whole chatting team, okay, that handles all of my Instagram chats. So that's what they do. I also have a coach, Lolita, and she actually first time she came to us, which was about a year ago. She's like, there was something special about her. And so she was able to, drop her 20 pounds within 9 days in a healthy way. But she's like, man, like this is like world class. And she studied with Bob Proctor too. And she's like, I want to work with you guys. I want to work with you guys. And so that was what she manifested. I just want to work with you guys. I'm like, okay, well, we didn't have a coach then. I'm like, I really like you. And you've already done the program. So you already know those are your best hires for coaches, are ones that are already done your program and that are just like in it to win it. Those are your best. So anyways, we ended up hiring. So now she's Coach Lolita. And so I'm teaching her how to kind of do what I do. But well, not to the level that I do, but she does like a lot of the just like, she's done the program. So she's one of our coaches. So she handles the insight calls and the accountability for all the clients, like the making sure that the clients do what they say they're going to do. But then I do the high level stuff because no one can really do what I do, but she can do the managing of that. So I have a coach, Lolita. And then I have my boys. They do my social media. So Tristan, I let you know if you guys do videos, wow, and reels, which are really important, batch them. Batch them like once a month or once every 2 weeks. Like have someone come in, do all your videos all in one day, and then let them post them throughout. Because you're like, you have one day to change of clothes, get all these like a whole month's worth of videos, just one day. That's it. And it would be like on a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, we'd have a lot of fun. And usually it's like, my brand is the beach because it's about natural beauty, healthy body. That's my brand. And that's who I am. And I mean, I'm the best beauty that I can be, but it comes from the inside. I think I'm beautiful from the inside. Whatever shows up on the outside is just natural. But anyways, we just do batch video. So I have the two boys do my social media. So Tristan does the videoing and then he posts it. And then Trey does some of the marketing. So they're part of the team too. And then of course, Reese, he does, we're building an online school of business. So he's creating that on the side in school, SKOOL. There's a new platform that is like off grid, because here's the thing, Instagram, Facebook, they might be shut down. Like, you don't know, you need a plan B. Because we're in it, like you want to be in this for the long term. And so you have to think long term. Oh, okay, school. Oh, okay. In school, we're building an online business, an online school of health. I want to teach this stuff to just the everyday person, natural health.
And it's also good. Like I have a course that people can take that they go through a platform to learn. And it's a good in between for someone who might not be able to afford your high level services, but they really want to work with you and they really want a taste of what you do.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like such a good in between, right? So it's not like either you work with me or nothing. It's like, here, you can't work with me for whatever reason. It's out of your budget, but why don't you try doing like the school or the platform or whatever it is? So I love that idea of having that middle tier almost. So can you lay it, like, if you could think back, did you have one mistake you made while hiring and that you learned from?
Yeah, one coach. Oh, to scale. Yeah. I knew it wasn't right. That's the thing, is I didn't follow my intuition. And we're doing this, like we're interviewing coaches to get us to the next level, because you always want to get the next level. And I'm like, I like your program, but something about you just doesn't seem right, but I'm just going to just see how it goes anyway. So we ended up signing a contract with him, and I'm like, he wasn't showing up. He was sick a lot. And I'm like, I don't know what to do, but I'm ready. Like, I'm biting at the bit to like get this business going. And I'm like, I should have went with my intuition. So I think it's important to really, again, I keep going back to that. It was that. And like, okay, yeah, next time I'm going to like sit with it and go, how does that feel? Does it feel and look right? Okay, then go ahead. So that was one mistake I made. And that I always learn from. There's never a mistake. You're a student. You're a student, like in a classroom, you're just learning all the time. But when lessons come, you want to learn them quickly, then not, because the lesson will come even stronger next time and it may not be as fun. So just really start to like pay attention to what's going on. Yeah, that's my biggest advice. Mm-hmm.
If you could succinctly lay out 3 steps it took to grow your business, what would it be?
Well, you need a signature program. First of all, you need a method. Like I have a 9-step clear path to losing 20 pounds in 90 days without giving up your favorite food or wine. And I have tested it and it's been like foolproof. But here's the thing is and I learned this, I've let you know, Fletcher method. Fletcher, he allowed me, it was another coach. He's like, okay, okay, from A to B, who do you like to help and who are you good at helping? Start with that. Okay. So when they come in your door, what are the steps that they need to take to get the result? They're buying results. That's all they're buying. Okay. What are the steps to get there? And pick 9, just that's because that's a nice even number. 3 pillars, 9 steps that are non-negotiable. And so you start to do this creative thinking going, okay, what's the first step that they would need to take to get from A to B? Okay, then what do they do? Oh, and then they do that. And so really I did a 2-week intensive and I created my 9-step signature program. And it's the 9 clear steps of losing 20 pounds within 90 days without giving up your favorite food or wine. And here's the thing, if you have candida, yes, we can start to bring in some of those foods. So that also, it's not like they're not going to have any. Yeah, we carefully put it in at certain times. So it's not going to be like deleterious to their body. So there's that piece too. So yes, they get to keep those in. But they counteract with other things. Anyway, so yeah, 9 steps. So here's the thing. You don't want to fly around. No, you want to be very confident and clear with who do I help? How do I help them? And what's the method? And if you don't have that, like you have to start with the foundation. And so I built a very strong foundation that I'm extremely proud of, that if anybody hops on, I know they're going to be way more happier doing it than not. Yeah. And then
That's
you collect,
helpful.
what you do is you validate it. So maybe at the very start, it's a beta group. Hey, I'm testing this out. Hey, it's going to be way less costly this time, but hey, when the next time it's going to be a lot more, but hey, why don't you guys hop on? There might be some I'm tweaking some things. You guys can help out. We can all do this together and just make it like so fun. And then at the end of it, you're collecting all these testimonials. You're testing out your program and they're showing you how to kind of like work out the tweaks. That's the best way to get started. Yeah.
So if you could distill down, do you think in one sentence, what advice do you have for women trying to scale and grow their business?
Oh, you're not going to scale by doing it all yourself.
Hear
You
that one a
need,
lot too.
well, do you want to okay, here's the thing. What gives you energy and joy and what sucks it away? Like, again, this is like your life. Do you want to live a life just for money that sucks all your energy? Probably not. So it's like, okay, I love doing this and I'm so skilled at good. Hire out what you don't like to do. A $10 task, $10 an hour task. Like the other thing is like, how much are you worth an hour? And so it's like, what am I worth an hour? Okay. So I'm worth this an hour. Right. So I'm going to hire out stuff I really don't like to do. You know what? They're going to be better at it anyways. And it takes that off my plate so I can do what I'm supposed to do. The high level tasks. Okay. And then again, when you hire, make sure they know your mission. You want to be in alignment. Again, it's frequency too. We think we're all physical. We're not. This is all energetic. So there's also that piece too. Like we're not just we're energy beings. So yeah.
Well, this has been so helpful. You've given us so much advice. Can you tell us where can we find you if a woman wants to connect with you or know more about your business? What do you have to offer them?
Well, I'm on all the social media. Well, okay, the social media channels. So right now, Instagram, it's Michale.Hart. It'll be probably on the link that you'll send them. But
Mhm.
I also have a free group and I love it. It's the Fit and Healthy Community. And so this is where I do weekly trainings. I call them 10-minute tactics. Like this week is going to be how to stop stress eating. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, I like
like
that.
quickly, like fast. Because there's one thing you can do to stop that. That's really easy and it works. And so I hop on, I do free trainings once a week in this fit and healthy community. So what do? I teach about healthy meal plans. You'll find meal plans in there. You'll find workouts in there. You'll find nutrition tips and for sure weight loss. So really, it's really about healthy weight loss. That's kind of my niche. However, I can work with all conditions because I am clinical. The only one I choose not to is mental illness because I can't reach them.
Mm.
Although I work with them, I just choose kind of not to because I want to work with ones that are like, I want to save time getting healthy and I want you to show me how to do that and learn more about my body. Okay. So weight loss is about getting healthy. It's not about weight loss. It's about getting healthy to lose the weight.
Mm.
Focus on health, not the weight loss. The weight loss will
Hmm.
come off when you're healthy. So anyways, I have this fit and healthy community that I would love to invite you to come in. We've got over 1,000 members, maybe 1,200 now. And so they're all like-minded. And so it's a fit and health community for that. And
Is
there's,
that on Facebook? Is that
yeah,
a
so
private forum?
Facebook,
Okay.
yeah, so Facebook, Fit and Healthy Community. It is a group, it's free, and that's where I give free trainings. And also all my trainings are in there. There's a lot of courses, Slim, Strong, and Sexy course, rapid weight loss in a healthy way. We have free courses there too. And then you get to connect with like-minded people. So that's my free group in Facebook. I would say Instagram, come and say hi there, or the Facebook community, join there. Okay. My website is outdated. You can see it's like a brochure.
I
It's
was
when I
looking at
worked
it.
at,
I was looking at it earlier when I
it's
was researching you. Yeah.
it's like super slow. And I'm like, where do I want to put my time? Well, we're building an online school of health and school, and I'm very active in the Facebook community. Like I'm going to be
Great.
doing a training tomorrow on it. So this
Great.
stress eating. Yeah. But I mean, there's recipes in there, like perfect protein bars and my savory bread recipes. If you love bread, I have a coconut bread recipe. I have a zucchini banana. Like these are ones that will get you lean, like, and they taste amazing. You think that you'll never deprive on my eating plan ever. Nobody should do that.
Coconut bread. That sounds interesting.
Oh, I
Sounds good.
made a double batch last night. See, when you cook, you double batch.
Mm, yummy. All right. So let's wrap this up with what is one philosophy, mantra, or quote you try to run your business by?
What is something I can be proud of saying that people need to hear? It's really about breaking people's limiting beliefs that are keeping them trapped. And really, I really believe I'm that voice for that now to go, we don't have to keep living that way anymore. We can keep living this other way, which is way more powerful. So it's like aging more powerfully and speaking your voice in a way that's respectful. I think that just being vulnerable and sharing this information, whereas before I didn't, I felt like I had to like super behave. But you know what? We need more people to be role models to actually start to be authentic and share the truth and share what's really going on. Okay. I think we've been lied to too long. So it's like, I just want to share the truth and I'm here showing up authentically. And that would be the mantra that it's like, okay, I feel like I need to share this today because this is what the world needs today. So I really believe it's just like tapping in and just sharing the truth. And I always do that. It always works out well. It always works out well.
I love that. I love
Mhm.
that. So thank you so much for being on the show. For our audience, we learned so much today. We learned about how fear is such a low level vibration. And do you want to
Yeah.
feel like that for the rest of your life? Right? Where do you think with the end in mind? Right? Start with a vision to get yourself to the next place. We learned about how scheduling in what is important to you and your values is so important for
Mm,
your business and making self care the number one priority. And we also learned about being authentic and how that will make you stand out in a very saturated field because your story is what resonates with people and your authenticity. So, Michelle, again, thank you for joining me on this interview. And if you're part of our audience who's listening right now and you think someone else will benefit from her advice, please do us a favor and share because then you're helping us grow the show. We'll put all the information in the show notes. Again, Michelle, thank you. You can find me on LinkedIn, Kiri Mohan. That is my most active community. Thanks, Michelle.
Oh, thanks so much. That was fun.